Welcome to the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage, where rude mechanicals do magic. Hello, I'm Bronze Age, Director of the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage. And today we're at the BF bench with a very old drawer with an interesting challenge. Now I know the drawer is old because these are hand-cut dovetail joints, and these lines right here are scribe marks made by the man who cut the dovetails. Now these days, if somebody wants to make a drawer with dovetail joints, they've got nifty little cutters like this, which spin about 20,000 RPM and make a nice clean cut right through the edge of the board. In the 1800s, this sort of technology simply wasn't practical. Trying to spin this at 20,000 RPM with the machinery they had then, something was just going to come apart. So dovetails, joints, and drawers was the last part of the assembly process to be mechanized, late 1800s. And so furniture making that in mills, which early 1800s up into 1820, 1830, somewhere around then, continued with hand-cut dovetails all the way up into the 20th century. Another nice detail about this piece is this little rounded part right here, which is called cock beading. What it actually is just a small board with a rounded edge. It's set down in a little recess or rabbet on the top and the sides and the bottom, and it protects the end grain of the drawer face. This may be a veneer piece, it may be solid wood, no way to really tell because the cock beading protects it. The drawer pulls, they certainly look original. The screws on the back are not, which I have no explanation for that. But there's only one set of holes, so this is probably original. The reason it's here is probably the most common kind of drawer failure, which is the bottom has fallen out of it. The bottom of the drawer side rides on the guide inside the dresser or cabinet or wherever it goes. And you put your socks and underwear away for 150 years, sooner or later that wears out. And the groove that holds the bottom of the drawer is exposed. The drawer panel itself is two thin but fairly wide boards that are glued together at the edge. I would expect to actually see plywood, which is quite an old technology. But with regular boards, they expand and contract quite a good bit. Changes in temperature, changes in humidity, whereas plywood doesn't. The drawer is held in place with these screws and washers, which are set in slots in the back, so that as the bottom would expand and contract, if it got loose up at the front, you could simply loosen these, knock it back in, and it would be nice and tight again. And the screw gives us another hint as to the age, because as a point, and pointed wood screws come in right around 1859, 1860, and it was such an improvement over the old kind, which were flat on the tip, that pretty much within a few years, anybody who wanted to use a wood screw used a pointed wood screw. Now the drawer is held in the back by the screws and by a groove on the front and the side pieces. And my challenge is to somehow restore this bottom edge so it'll hold the drawer panel again. Now I've repaired lots of drawers with this particular problem before, and all of them were in much worse shape. With those drawers, the glue had dried up, flaked away, and I could easily tap the joints and the entire drawer would come apart. Now what I have to do is somehow add some wood to here so that I can recreate the groove that the drawer bottom goes in. And I'm pretty sure that if I start knocking on this piece here with this nice, solid, clean, tight joints, I'm just going to break something. So what I've got to do here now is figure out how I'm going to cut this piece of wood down a little bit to give me a little more room to glue in a patch piece that will serve the function of keeping the drawer panel in the bottom of the drawer. Now in furniture repair, not being able to take the entire piece apart to get the broken part out so that you can reproduce it and put it back together is one of the biggest challenges. Now there's number of ways that I could trim this board down, and I've decided I'm going to go ahead and use a router, which of course means a router jig. What I've done is basically constructed this from a bunch of scrap, which will sit on here like this. I'll clamp it in place. Then the router will have this brass guide right here. The router bit will stick down through there like that, and I'll be able to run the router down here, keeping it from going too far one way or the other, and stopping it at the ends. But I definitely don't want to cut into the front or the back. Then I can swap this around a little bit, put it on the other end, and all I have to worry about then is making the patch piece. Well, I've got the cutter set to take about 5/8 of an inch off of this board. Let's see how this works. Now I'll clean up this extra piece here on the corners by hand. Turn this around a little bit, do the other side, and then it's on to making the patch piece. Now to make the patch piece, I've got to take a board that starts out like this and ends up looking more like that. Now that brings us to our 1959 model 113 Craftsman table saw. A table saw that is much maligned because of the original fence it was equipped with, which won't stay square, won't stay straight, and has a bad habit of coming loose while you're sawing. It is possible to get a more modern one-handed fence that you just simply grab it here and move it back and forth, and you clamp it down and it cuts a nice straight line. Several $100s and a good bit of effort, I could probably put one on here. But as Uncle Earl used to say, that would be like putting socks on a rooster. I have this very nifty little shop-made tool, a pair of rulers from Harbor Freight, a piece of 1/4 inch aluminum that I have cut a dado in, and it allows me to adjust the fence front and back of the blade and get a perfectly straight cut. And what's more, when I'm doing this kind of work here, I can set this on the side, change it to a different cut, come back and reset it with my handy dandy little table saw gauge. Now I can use my little gauge block that I made, the pattern piece, set the blade height. I'll have to snug up the belt a little bit before I start the cut, but get this where it needs to be. And I've got a second table saw gauge for this cut. And when it's time to locate the groove in the repair piece, there's several choices. You can calculate it with arithmetic, you can measure it directly. But I think the best way to actually do it is to mark it from the piece. Take a pencil with a razor sharp tip cut on it. And that's going to be my guide. I went ahead and cut the groove on the table saw off camera because really how much of that stuff does anybody really want to see? Now this would seem to be like a really ideal chance to use a stacked dado head cutter, but this groove is only 3/16 of an inch, and the minimum that my cutter will make is 1/4 of an inch. But it's come out nice, and all I have to do is just slice this off even with the top of the drawer, and we'll move on with this project. Now I have the BF bench configured for glue ups with a sheet of wax paper, and it's apparent someone tried to glue this one time before and used Gorilla Glue, but for some reason they didn't get any glue into the crack. All the glue is up here on the top. So I'm going to knock this back because this side is going to be down, and that's what's going to determine how flat I can get this piece. Now, most drawer repairs that come in here, the bottom panel is not worth saving. This piece here is actually plywood, 3 layers. This is a solid piece of oak, but the way they made it was by putting the log in a lathe and shaving a layer all the way off of it all the way around, and that makes it naturally likely to bend and bow and curve. I think that's how this one was made, but it's still in good shape except for this crack, and we can glue that back together, and I'm hoping that the glue will make it nice and solid, and if it doesn't, there's a little bit more we can do to it. Well, it's Monday morning. The lab is swept. Got all the debris picked up. And it's time to see if we can put this thing back together. The bottom panel glue up came out nice and strong. I'm happy with that. If I was worried about it, what I would have to do would be to use the router to go about halfway down all the way through, and then cut a piece to put in and plane it down flat, which is not a lot of work, but luckily I don't have to do that. The only problem we do have is that it's now about 1 inch wider than it should be. The bevel in the groove is supposed to ensure a tight fit, which makes the drawer relatively dust-proof and hopefully insect-proof, but still allows the panel to slip for the natural expansion and contraction of the wood. There we go. This is Bronze Age for the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage, and thank you for sitting through this video about putting this drawer back together. I would really appreciate it if you would hit the thumbs up, if you would subscribe if you hadn't, tell all your friends, tell all your family, and if you have any questions, any comments, please put them down there where you're supposed to put them, because I answer all, I respond to all. And again, thank you for watching.